2 weeks ago, we testified in front of the Ways and Means Committee about the connection between campus anti-Semitism and terrorism financing. This week, the curtain was drawn back and we were able to see the systematic bias against Jews within higher education. During a congressional hearing, 3 university presidents from Harvard, MIT, and Penn had to answer a very simple question: does calling for the genocide of Jews break the university code of conduct, and is it considered harassment? Pretty simple, right? Listen to how they responded.
Specifically calling for the genocide of Jews, does that constitute bullying or harassment?
It is a context-dependent decision, Congresswoman.
It's a context-dependent decision. That's your testimony today. Calling for the genocide of Jews is depending upon the context. That is not bullying or harassment. This is the easiest question to answer yes, Ms. McGill. So is your testimony that you will not answer yes?
If the
yes or no?
If the speech becomes conduct, it can be harassment. Yes.
Conduct meaning committing the act of genocide? The speech is not harassment? This is unacceptable, Ms. McGill.
It depends on the context, and also it depends on whether or not there is an actual Jewish genocide. Now, just imagine that instead of a Jewish genocide, they'd be asked about the genocide of any other marginalized community. Would calling for a genocide against the LGBTQ plus community be considered okay? How about calling for a genocide of Asians or blacks? Would that be context dependent? The answer is no. There would have been no context depending on calling for the genocide of any other marginalized community, and rightfully so. But for the Jews, it's totally fine. These presidents' failed moral leadership has led to a moral decay of our campuses. So now the mask is totally off, and we can no longer overlook the dismissal of anti-Semitism as mere innocence. When Liz McGill welcomed a group of vile anti-Semites for a festival of hate on Penn's campus a few months ago, wasn't an anomaly. When Harvard students and faculty published an anti-Semitic statement right after the massacre of October 7th, that wasn't an anomaly. And when students across the country are allowed to call for a Jewish genocide without any consequences, this is not an anomaly. This is all a part of systematic Jew hatred that exists in the highest levels of academia. They call it anti-Zionism, and then they immediately say that a Jewish genocide is context dependent. President McGill, President Gay, and President Kornbluth should take responsibility and ownership. It's time for them all to either be fired or to resign.